Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of What is in Our Stand Today. Keep in mind that's a hashtag you can follow, What is in Our Stand Today. And today what we have is a giant that has a press fit bottom bracket installed. Gentleman has a creaky bottom bracket, so we are going to service the ceramic bearings. Now, just to make things work a little faster for the video, I've already started a little bit of the prep here, but you have to remove the seal, the dust seal, and then the bearing seal. And then that exposes the bearings inside there. So hopefully you can see that in there. And now what you have to do is you have to clean out the old stuff, the old ceramic lube, and use any type of degreaser, hopefully something under some pressure so you can get that in there. And I have a drain plate underneath, a drip pan I should say, to catch all of that. And once you've done that, what you hear now, you're hearing the bearings themselves without any lube whatsoever. So we clean all that old stuff out. You can hear that. That doesn't sound happy at all, does it? But that's basically what we want to get down to, just nothing. And, you know, a little bit of a tedious process, but it has to be done. And now what I'm starting to see is not even just the bearings themselves, but I'm starting to see the carrier that's holding everything together. And so we will keep wiping down as much as we can. What we will also do is we will blow that out a little bit just to get the last remaining bit of it's clean. I always like to follow things up with some alcohol to make sure you get rid of everything that might be still in there. And then we blow that out as well. So that should be all nice and clean, nice and sterile, if you will. And what we are going to do now is we're going to put in some more of the bearing grease that Kogel recommends for their bearings. So there it is, the low friction grease, and it's for use in hubs and bottom brackets. Okay, now I've already got a syringe prepared, and well, why not? We'll give it one more. And here's a syringe. It's loaded up with grease. It's got a plunger. We're going to put all that together, and then we are going to see, it's even quieter now that all that degreaser is out of it. But what we're going to do now is we're going to push that in there, and according to them, you can grease at will. Now, I know I had heard in the past that the fill rate was important as well, as far as, you know, how much grease was in there. But based on Kogel's instructional videos, they said just grease at will. So that's what we will do. And once we have a good amount of grease there, what we're going to do next is put everything back together. And what's important is obviously that everything's nice and clean. The bearing seals are nice and clean. The dust seals are nice and clean. You want to make sure everything is as clean as possible. Otherwise, that low friction grease is, well, it's not doing its appropriate jobs. So what I'm doing now is I'm cleaning the seal, the bearing seal, with degreaser. And that's getting cleaner. We're going to keep going just a little bit more. And then we'll clean the dust seal next, and then we will put this crankset all back together. Now, I'm only doing the drive side because the non-drive side, surprisingly enough, the non-drive side is very quiet. And it's usually the other way around. Usually the non-drive side bearings go bad before the drive side bearings. But in this case, it was, or in this particular bottom bracket, that wasn't the case. So we're going to put that guy back on, or clean that dust seal. That's going to go on the outside. So you can tell the difference between the two. One has a metal portion, and the other one is just plastic. So this is the outer one, okay? So now we push that guy in there, and it'll take a little bit of oomph to make sure it has snapped into place. And so I'm just cleaning off the excess, and yep, that feels really nice now. Then we're going to put our dust seal back on. And that should have, there's the noticeable click. All right, so all of that is back together, and that feels much, much better than it did when we first started. Okay, well, that's all for today. Just wanted to show you how to service a bottom bracket bearing. You'll need a razor blade or something really sharp, an X-Acto knife of some sort, so that you're able to pry the dust seals off of the bearings and then clean them as thoroughly as possible. I use alcohol just to make sure everything is as clean as possible. Then reapply the grease, reapply your seals, and you're good to go. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and share this video amongst your friends. And we look forward to seeing you up the road.